Two Poor Artists, where we're poor at bringing the sword, but mostly we're poor at making art. My name's Benj.
And my name is Isaac. And this week, we are going back to our roots.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
It has.
We realized.
We've been road tripping and
doing
more road
random,
tripping,
like we've shown our face so many times.
There's been songs on the channel and all kinds of things. We have not done a normal studio week in quite some time, and we know that's what's gained our massively dedicated fan base.
And it's not only that, because even the last time we did a studio video, we drew, we did a game. We did a unique thing.
We've been on top of the current events a lot lately too, drawing Olympics and things like that.
But Dr. Doom before, we've been trying to be popular.
Yeah, which is not what we're all about.
And we've been trying new things, and we need to go back.
I was feeling a little lost. I don't know about you, Ben.
Yeah, we need to go back to our roots. Before we can grow more. I think
there's a good botany lesson for today. You have to go back to your roots before you can truly grow as an artist. Which we don't really grow as artists. We're just kind of like that. We're kind of like the fig tree. We're waiting to be thrown into the fire.
Yeah, our goal isn't really to grow as artists. Our goal is to grow in fame.
Yes.
And hotel tycoons.
Yes. Hotel. Woo! I got out of that one a real sly one.
Oh, did you? I thought you were still
hell.
I think you were trapped in there.
I was trapped in my metaphor.
You might
the
still
fig
be
tree,
trapped.
the parable. Just. The point is, we're going back to what makes this channel great.
Oh yeah.
No, we're going back to our roots so that we can grow.
Yes.
And our roots, in case you aren't aware or have forgotten, because we've been road tripping so much lately.
Or just doing other things.
Yeah, exactly. This channel started on a Sunday morning many years ago when our pastor used to hand out notes to go along with his sermon. And if you were very lucky on a Sunday morning, he would only have one side of the page filled with notes, and the other side was blank.
Yes.
So what do any two aspiring poor artists do? They take that blank side of the paper and they draw a picture of the sermon title.
Yes.
We have so many pictures.
We've said it many times on this channel and in real life that sermon titles are the very first version of clickbait to ever exist.
It's true. You've seen the what do they call that thing out in front of the church?
I call it a billboard, but it's probably not
a billboard. It has a name, but I can't remember it either. But you know what we're talking about. The ones that have the letters in there, and sometimes hooligans go and steal a letter and make a funny joke. Or sometimes, honestly, churches are just really good at clickbait. And they put in something, that makes you want to come on a Sunday morning. Something that catches your attention as you're driving by.
Yeah. And so those are the perfect things to turn into drawings. Because, it's already clickbait that someone else came up with. Right. And then they also, the whole point is that it, gives you a good visual.
Yes.
And so we can draw not that visual.
Yes, exactly.
We can be like, oh, that's the obvious visual. We're going to draw some pun. Or... It
opens the door for, in us to interpret it differently,
Yeah.
Because you see that and you're like, well, I wonder what the sermon's going to be about. I think I know.
Yeah.
But you can't know what we're, what we do, what we draw.
Yeah.
There's something about the mind of a poor artist, I feel like, that's unimagined by the rest of the world.
Right.
A level of creativity that regular artists, and I say artists loosely with air quotes, regular artists and ordinary humans just haven't quite figured out.
And some of you might be thinking, oh, isn't this sacrilege? But I assure you, for some reason it's not. That I can't really explain.
That we're taking sermon titles?
Yeah, and then drawing them.
We have other rules. We don't draw people we respect.
We say that's a rule, but we break it all the time.
Yeah, but
You've drawn Jesus. I've drawn Jesus.
It was a long time ago. I think we've grown. We might not have. That's what we have to find out today, right? Maybe we're both going to draw Jesus.
And you made me draw Charles.
Made you draw Charles?
Yeah.
Charles Ingalls?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did make you. You made me.
I made you draw
Henry Cavill, right?
Yeah. So I'm just saying, we say that's a rule, but we break it all the time.
The point is, we're not trying to be sacrilegious. We might be. We're not. That's not our goal.
Yeah, well, I was just saying,
Like, that's
we're
actually an opposite goal of us. We don't want to be sacrilegious. We just want to draw.
Yeah.
And we're going to let the creativity lead and
It says
hopefully...
we're so bad.
Yes.
Like, if someone else were to do this, like someone's like, oh, I'm going to take the sermon title and draw it, you'd be like, oh, what a great way to worship. Like, oh, you just enhanced this sermon by doing that.
Yes,
but for us...
yeah, no, it's... We can't get the beautiful picture in our heads onto the paper.
Yeah. So for us... Like, people are like, oh, isn't that sacrilege?
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's hard to disagree.
It is, because, when you're drawing with a pen, and it just
but
can't make
the thing is, it's the thought that counts, right? And we're trying our hardest. Like, you guys might not believe us when we say this.
I think people think we're joking.
Like,
I think some of the people we met last week think we're joking. This is our skill.
The best we can do.
Yes, with the equipment in front of us, this is the best we can do.
Yeah.
Let's just let that sink in. Every time I think about it, I have to re-accept the truth.
Like, we draw a lot. Like, you would think.
Every week.
You guys must get better.
Yeah, you would hope so. You would hope.
We don't.
We don't. We promise. So this week, just to get into the sermon title, because sermon titles make if you're an aspiring poor artist, go to church first of all. Everyone should go to church.
Right.
But then just look at the sermon title, get a piece of paper and draw it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you're just sitting there at church anyways. You may as well draw it while you listen.
Oh yes, while you listen.
It helps people.
It helped me. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people need to do something with their hands.
It's true. And if not, just go find any church sermon online, you know, and just look up the title. Start drawing it. Next time you drive
down any road.
Yeah, whatever.
Eventually, you'll see a church advertising their sermon title.
I want to say like teleprompter, but that's not it.
No, that's definitely not.
They have a name. I'll think.
Billboard's closer than teleprompter.
It is. I know it's not called a teleprompter. Like, anyway, today's sermon title is "He Came to Bring the Sword." He came to bring the sword. Yeah. He came to bring the sword. Are you ready?
Well,
I'm asking
me. You're the one drawing.
I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking you. I'm looking up what those things are called.
Thank you. Because I'm going to start drawing then. All right. This is the king. We'll make him a nose first style, but definitely not nose first king. That's his crown. It's not anything to be proud of if you're him.
Oh, okay. I've never heard this word before.
What's it called?
They're called marquee signs.
Marquee signs.
Yeah.
I knew that.
I don't
know where I was getting teleprompter from.
I've never heard that said before.
Huh.
But if you search church billboards, that is what most people call them.
They call them billboards?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's because that's like a normal word.
Right. Like you there's like a Facebook page called Church Billboards that is just all the funny ones.
Would you believe this guy is the king?
I mean, for your drawing, like this is a sad kid.
I think I can fix him.
It does not surprise me that this guy does not have his sword on him. Like, he keeps it at someone else's house.
Like, there's a reason someone has to get this guy.
Like they're going to war, and he's like, I guess I need my sword. It's, at Bill's house.
Bill. Good old Bill.
Like, there's no, like, the people don't trust this kid with his sword.
Nor should they. Nor should
like, his mom told him he can't have a sword. And as king, he listened to
everyone in the kingdom supports her decision.
But it's like, when they're going to war, they're like, okay, well, we have to let him have his sword. Are those two arms?
No, this wasn't meant to be an arm. This was meant to be like the front of his outfit, I think.
Is he wearing a tie?
Kingly, that's all I know.
A bolo tie?
It's just
He's like an Arizonian king.
just go with it. Okay. Gosh, he has like those boots that are like
Mm-hmm.
bigger than. I don't know what this is now. I guess it's just hanging off the front.
And like his cape is just like
It's over
near
one
his
shoulder.
back,
It's over one shoulder. It's
like the other
like
shoulder.
hanging off the shoulder. Maybe I'll give a reason for that in a second. But I think he's so pathetic looking. he's
Like I want to
he's
know.
so sad.
Were you trying to draw like an epic king, and this is how he turned out, or were you going for
This
this?
is what makes poor art awesome, right? Because I sit down and I'm like, I'm gonna draw a burly, like Viking king in his, his fur coat and his, this is what we get.
Just the
It's like a
opposite.
prince who, like, they have, like, he had, like when a prince is born and they're like, put a crown on his baby head. They've never upgraded his crown because it's clearly too small.
Yep.
But
I mean, he never looked like he really grew up either.
I was really thinking,
He's a bald. His lips just sag.
I was really, up until just now talking with you, I was like, I'm going to add a beard and I'm going to make this man epic. But I think I don't want to anymore. Like, this being our king is better.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like this has become the new goal.
This is the new...
Like
This is
like
yeah,
you're
this
probably
picture
gonna
is so different
change
now.
the whole
The
thing.
whole thing
the
is
pun,
different,
the joke, the everything about this picture is now different.
He still has that arm, which is real unfortunate.
I
But
think you mean that paw.
it's like in a fist, but it's facing the wrong way, I realized. Maybe... Gosh, the pen's not lighting up. Now he just has... I don't know what's wrong with it.
It's so weird. Like it looks like
A
it's
stump.
like
God.
real gross stuff,
God. It's like he just lost the hand to some...
and it's like still swollen.
Yeah,
It's real bad. Like you made it.
this is so
like,
much worse.
Like just letting it be a paw
Yeah.
would have been fine, but now
we talk on this channel a lot about how, despite all of our drawings not necessarily being in the same world, there is like a multi-dimensional, multiverse man
yeah,
called the Hand Mangler, and he visits all of our
Yes.
art.
every
week,
single piece of
There is
art.
just a Hand Mangler. This guy's been visited by him.
Yeah.
You know,
What is his lore? Like, is he a man
the Hand Mangler.
born without hands, and he's like jealous?
I don't-
He's like, I'm gonna make people regret having hands.
Or did like something happen to his hands when he was young? You know,
Mhm.
he burned them, horribly scarred
Right.
hands. You know,
And he's just like, I want everyone to suffer the same fate as me, but worse.
or maybe
Or is he just like a regular
a
guy,
normal dude.
and he's just like,
Maybe he has beautiful hands, and he's
Yeah.
worried that someone else will have more beautiful hands.
oh, it's like a Snow White situation.
Yeah, you know, like he's a hand model.
But it's like instead of like finding the people with the best hands, he just
Just
That's
shotguns it out there
everyone's
for everyone.
hand just in case.
Uh-huh. I don't know.
There's so much possible lore to the
The thing I can
motivations
say for
behind
sure is
this
he
man.
probably drives a windowless white van.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all
Just like
criminals,
calls people in.
all criminals to some degree have experience with windowless white
Yeah,
vans.
I mean that's the best scene, and Thanos driving around in this windowless white van
No, it's real
through
rough.
the galaxy.
Uh-huh. I always hated it in the Bible when Judas pulled up to the Last Supper. That's windowless white van.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, it's that he bought with 30 pieces of silver. It's
yeah. Every villain
it's a
had their
villain.
windowless
it's a
white
villain.
van.
It's a villain thing.
I feel like the windowless white vans might be the true evils of our world.
It might be, you know. It
Like
might.
it gets into a point where, like, I think it's not even the people that are evil. It's the van forcing them to do evil.
This guy's got a real interesting hand. He has a scar on his hand. Let's just go with
That his hand?
it. Was it's supposed to be.
What?
It's like you'll see.
What's it doing? What part of the hand is that?
I think it'll actually work in a second. That one a little less so.
Oh, is this like above his head?
Uh-huh.
And the hands are like sticking out? It's like, these looks like alien antennas or
They
something.
definitely do. I will not deny that that is what they look like. Can you lift your hands up above your head? How far is the head?
Well, I mean, it's
It's like at elbow length, right?
yeah.
Thank you for your demonstration in the
Yeah,
studio.
because like if you bend your elbows at this degree, I don't know,
This
like a 90 degree, if you put your arms straight up and bend at 90 degrees, everyone do this at home.
yeah.
Arms up,
Test your arms.
bend at 90 degrees. Your forearms are now resting on your head.
This man is apparently blind. Or closing his eyes real tight. I don't actually know. Got a thick neck though, man.
You know what's weird? Babies
Yeah, they are.
can't, like I was just saying, if I put my arms straight up and put my arms at a 90 degree, my arms with the forearms are like
Yeah,
on my
no,
head
babies-
and going past.
If you have a baby
Babies
at home,
like can't
Yeah.
even touch their hands over their heads.
if you have a baby at home that you watch this with, pause our video and go try to put your baby's hands around their head,
yeah,
and then take a picture.
yeah,
Have
like
you
when
and them doing
when we make a circle above
Uh-huh.
our head, like imagine, like go into the mirror and make a circle with your arms above your head. Like doing the YMCA thing, but with a circle instead of any of the letters that's in YMCA. Look at how big that circle is compared to your head.
Mm-hmm.
And now think to yourself, a baby's head in comparison to their arms is more than that circle. And imagine if your head was bigger than that circle you're making.
Yeah, it would be real
Like
weird if your head
babies
was that big.
would be weird
Do you remember the game?
in real life.
What does that even mean? Yeah, like babies are in real life, most of them.
I don't know. I've never seen one, but
What do you think? Are there more babies in like the digital world, like pictures of babies and like 3D models of babies? Are there more babies in the real world or in the digital world?
I would probably say the digital world, because
Yeah,
if you're
see?
counting pictures,
Yeah.
because like every family takes multiple pictures
Yeah.
of their baby.
Uh-huh. So like and like there's like 8 billion people in the world, but not all of them are babies.
Yep.
Like most of them aren't.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely
Plus, like I
More
have
babies.
baby pictures.
yeah. Like
I'm no
everyone-
longer a baby.
Like most people
So-
on Earth, I imagine, have baby pictures.
Yeah.
Just ignore how long this guy's arms are. I'm realizing now. Just
He's also
I don't know what kind of gloves he's
like
got on.
for some reason the way that these guys are, they both just look so small.
Yeah, this guy's real small.
Like
I don't even
he's real
understand.
small.
I don't even know how to
But-
explain.
But like looking at the Keen, you're not like, well, that's because the Keen's so big. Like the Keen also looks small. Like the Keen looks like, I think it's because the Keen looks like he clearly a small child, and then this guy is smaller than him. It's
true.
also like your Keen's proportions. Like he can't put his hands around his head. He has baby proportions.
Yes, he does. He has a real big head.
And this other guy who still has very short arms. Because
Yeah.
look
like,
at how much higher my hands
Yeah.
go above my head than his. Like you think his arms are long. They look long, but they're so short.
Yeah, it's true. It is.
And
true.
that's why drawing humans is so weird. Because it's like you try to draw an anatomically correct human, you end up with like Slender Man
Yeah, they're not normal
with
looking.
big heads somehow. Like I don't get it. I don't. Drawing is hard.
I'm gonna try a third person. Let's just see how messed up this gets.
Then you watch like other artists and they draw like a accurate person and they look beautiful, and you're like, you just drew a beautiful person. But when I try to draw that exact same person, it's the most hideous creature you ever witnessed. Is that a guy? Is that an eye? Is that a human? head?
You know what's
Is
interesting?
it just the head?
Hang on. This isn't right because this isn't the nose.
Can it be?
I'm thinking maybe it should be, but
But then the eye is so far away.
I'm going with the original vision here. Just hang on.
Oh.
Apparently he has an afro. I don't. He's gonna need a second eye, doesn't he?
Oh, he's so cross-eyed. And it's like lazy
Oh,
cross-eyed.
I like him much more now. He looks angry. He's not supposed to be angry.
Looks like this guy's grandma.
You know, it is. It is.
Like his angry grandma.
It is definitely her now. Just good, because grandmas wear, like, these.
What are these? Like a baggy crop
like
top?
a moo type. Yeah. She's got real short little legs.
Oh. This. Oh.
There she is.
Oh, I like this. All three of your people are so differently bad. Like you're a normal guy over there.
It's because I drew the
with
first
his
guy and
hands
I was
up.
like, man, this is bad. I'm gonna try something else, and then
Yeah.
I drew it. Then
Like I mean, he's by
Granny
far
over here. Yeah, my first
He's
guy's
by
the
far
best.
the thing is, you could get away with any of these three styles, but not like
the same.
why are they in the same?
It's like three different people drew them.
Yeah.
Like at different times. But no.
Like there's like if this was like a comic, like
Yeah.
you could get away with any one of them, but not all three
Not
of
all.
them.
Like there's something wrong, right?
This is like one of those crossover comics where three different artists drew.
I was gonna draw a throne, but I don't think.
He's just standing on a pedestal. Like it's like a weird like two-step like spot that he stands on.
He like has. Yeah, that's it. Oh gosh, this window. A basketball.
He's a big fan of basketball.
Straight lines are just real rough. Oh, this cat palace is crumbling. Apparently, it's just this window. The royal window maker must be like a relative, and they're like, "We've got to let him make the windows for the palace. He's a cousin. Like we like him. He's so bad at making windows. Yeah, but he's a family. Anyone who comments on the windows, we'll just execute him.
Right.
You know? Like after we execute our cousin, but we'll keep a window in his memory.
You let him make a window, and then you off him because of how bad he is at making a window.
Mm-hmm. Which kind of looks like Syndrome from from that one movie,
Incredibles.
Incredibles. Yeah.
Their cousin just really liked basketball. What is this?
This is a tentacle.
Oh. Just crashing through. Like where are they located?
In the throne, like the audience chamber.
Well, no, I understand that. I just mean like, how, are they like just right next to the ocean?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like, and why is the whole colored in? Like
Art.
the tentacles like flat,
Art.
just
Art.
sneaking in through the side of the broken part.
Art.
So, real jagged tentacles.
I mean, have you ever seen tentacles?
Yeah, I have.
They're jagged. Some of them have hooks.
This one's also fully colored in. Like the way you colored in those makes these tentacles look so
Like their
two-dimensional.
paper.
Yeah.
Like, It does kind of look that way, I will admit.
Plus the fact that like there's a line that goes through them right at the. Where's this one even coming
The
from?
roof.
Like, is it multiple tentacled beasts?
Yeah, like they're under attack from the sea.
But not really, because if it's on the roof, it's like.
It's real big. Like,
Well,
maybe this is one creature.
but like I'm looking at the size of the tentacles.
Yeah, like
So like the tentacles aren't that big.
no, they are. They're really long, like 5 times longer than you'd think. Like this thing is in the ocean still,
Okay.
and like you can
So-
see the ocean from
Right.
it, but like
So like they're not that big, but they're really long.
yeah, like it would be like if you had an arm that could reach like down the street, but your hand stayed the same size.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's like that.
Okay.
Just,
It's just
go with it.
and it's like it can still move it at that distance. Like that's
I guess.
like it must have multiple brains through the tentacle. Like it had like it's not just like, oh, each tentacle has its own brain. It's like like each tentacle has 2 brains.
But it's okay because of the sword.
Is that the sword?
Yeah, it's the tip of it.
It's real big.
Mhm.
And how is he holding it?
Well, there's you got to imagine there's like a procession of
Well, no, I know.
sword
No,
squires.
I mean, like he's holding the edge.
He has gloves on. We already established that.
Right.
Chainmail gloves. That wasn't established.
But it's like, why would you carry it? Like it's not, I don't even mean the sharpness. I mean, like, he's not holding it. He just has his hands.
He's balancing it.
Like,
on
one
the
of his
edge.
hands isn't even touching it.
It's like bouncing as you walk. You know.
Right. No, but it's the edge of the sword. That's what I'm saying. Like, how is he keeping it from falling?
I don't know. He's just trained as a sword squire.
Mm-hmm.
His father was a sword squire. His brothers are sword squires.
Mm-hmm.
They carry it this way for dramatic emphasis. If you held it flat, you wouldn't be able to see it from the crowd. You have to carry
Right.
it on the edge.
I feel like if it was that big, you could probably see it.
I imagine the gloves are like slotted. Like there's a slot in the gloves that the edge
Okay.
fits in,
Right.
and possibly some magnets.
But it's like I'm looking at this.
Maybe the back of it is really well supported, and the front is just about.
Oh, okay.
You know, like it's not going to turn.
That makes sense. Like there's like a wagon or something in the back that's like real sturdy and holding it up.
Uh-huh.
And this guy's practically doing nothing. He's
Yeah.
just there for show.
Uh-huh. And the king, you know, this king hasn't made a decision in his career.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to draw a lot of baby kings. I don't know why. What's he doing here?
Grandpa.
Granny? Like, you know how most kings are just figureheads?
Right.
You know? Like, at least that's what I gather from movies and watching the country of England over the years. The monarchy is just a figurehead.
Right.
She is really in charge. You know, this like
Right.
evil bobblehead looking lady. She's in charge. And she's going to say our key line. He came to bring... Is it a sword or the sword?
I feel like it's the sword.
Came to bring the sword. Yeah, because in this kingdom, there might be a lot of swords, but you know when they say the sword.
Mm-hmm. It's this sword.
Yeah.
That like it, and again, even in this situation, it's just a figurehead. Like the king's not gonna fight this tentacle monster with that sword.
Yeah.
The king's just gonna like have that sword near him when he sends the army to deal with it.
This guy's not at all worried. Because he has... But I already have my pen. Can you imagine this guy's voice?
It's horrible in my head. High pitched. It's just it's the same voice to me as have you ever read or watched Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Yes.
There's that kid that touches the cheese.
That kid.
The cheese touch kid.
I know it. I know what you mean.
His voice. Whatever like it's the same feeling. This guy and that guy.
I see. I'd like the audience at home to ignore the fact that this guy is standing in the floor while everyone else is standing on the floor. It's how I wanted it.
Like, again, in every way, the guy on the left is your best guy.
I know no one thought that at the beginning of the drawing, though.
Well, I think it's everyone. No one was hoping for that.
Yeah, you're right about that. Nobody was hoping that would be the best part of the drawing, because usually it's the worst. Let's see if I can write this all again. He came. I don't really know how this works in this kingdom.
What do you mean by that?
What's the plan here? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm pretty
guessing
sure.
like they just like wave this sword around and the Kraken, which apparently like this has got to be pre-planned, right? Like they live in Kraken country,
Right.
Kraken territory.
Like they must have a plan that they do every time.
And so I think the plan is just they bring out this giant sword and the Kraken runs away.
Yeah, it's like oh, if they have someone that can use that sword,
Yeah.
I should leave.
This Kraken's never seen the king.
Yeah.
They just see the procession of sword squires
Right.
bringing this giant sword to where he knows the king is.
Yeah.
And he's like, if they're bringing that to the king,
I'm
he must be so burly and manly and tough. You know,
like it's probably like one of those scenes where like 1,000 years ago there was
a really
tough
like Viking king.
Viking king that
like,
could use this sword.
Seen the Pixar movie Brave? Her dad, he's like this giant Viking of a man, you know, or How to Train Your Dragon. The dad, like those big, burly, tight men that you like. You see this sword and you're like, your ancestor wielded this, man. Like, you know.
And so it's like this Kraken's been like defeated by the king before. And he's just like he came back and he's like, surely that king's dead. No one can wield that sword anymore.
They keep bringing the sword.
The sword, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm not risking that again."
He keeps trying to get to the king before they can get the sword to him.
Yeah,
you know. I imagine there's just hundreds of sword squires, like a whole family, and like many generations and cousins, and like they were just born to do this, and they get picked off one by one. You know, like carrying the sword, like every time. You know, get eaten.
But then the sword gets there. Kraken leaves.
Yeah, like
there's no way that this king can wield that sword.
They don't.
This isn't one of those jokes where it's like, oh, but the king looks real weak, but he can pick up that
exactly
sword.
how he's how he looks. There it is. He came to bring the sword.
Okay. Well, I should save this drawing, I guess.
Maybe they're kind of like Oompa Loompas, the sword squires. They're smaller than you'd think, but for no good reason, you know. And they're blind, like they have to be, so that they don't run screaming from the Kraken as they're carrying the sword, you know. They're like blind sword monks,
right? But the proportions of all your people so different and weird.
I can't tell you what Granny reminds me of, but it's so uncomfortable, her proportions. She's the one that really is just like her head and her body are the same size. Her head might be bigger than her whole body, and I think there's just something about that that's unnerving. What are you doing?
I'm looking,
You noticing how all of our drawings have disappeared?
Yeah.
That is interesting. Well,
Like where do I save this?
I don't even know. Just create a new file. New file, man. Just a new file. A new file. People at home are waiting. Just save it right in there. Just save it right there. We'll put it somewhere later. We're good. We're good. Yeah, just name it that. Whatever that name is. One of these days, I'm going to draw a manly king. Like a burly, just looking at his chest hair kills you kind of guy. The kind of guy that like enters into a arm wrestling contest. Not the dorky. You know how so many movies and cartoons have like the dweeby little guy enter into a arm wrestling contest and somehow wins, and you're like, clearly Thor over there. Thor, the Viking king, should have won, but for some reason,
yeah, it's like there's a point where the trope starts to like ruin the whole genre.
Yes, indeed.
Because it's like if it's always like always
the
the underdog, or like the underdog wins every time. It's like, okay, yeah, there's some amount of coolness to the underdog winning, but it's also cool to watch someone who's just the best
epic winning. Yeah.
Like in real life, that's fun. You know, like you're like, oh, there's Michael Jordan playing basketball, the best in the world.
I wonder who's gonna win.
Like, and it's like fun to watch.
You want to root
how
for the best.
Good he is. You know what I mean? It's like you don't like in real life. It's not like you always want the underdog to win.
No, you don't. In fact, you'd be greatly disappointed if it happened most
like
of the
so
time.
like in real life, if you saw Thor, the slapper, come into a slapping contest,
Come on, man! You gotta do better than Thor the Slapper.
and then
I don't think
and
you can
then
root
this,
for Thor the Slapper.
and then this like twig of a man walks up into the slapping contest.
Arm
like-
wrestling. Not slapping things are scary.
They are scary. Well, that's just what I'm saying. Like, you watch those, and it's like, if that skinny guy even hurt Thor,
Yeah,
you'd be disappointed.
you're right.
You'd be like, what's happening to reality here?
Do you remember the wrestler from Spider-Man 1 that he wrestles? Bonesaw.
Yeah.
The grossest, greasiest,
Yeah.
hairiest wrestler man they could find.
See, like, in that situation, that was like a kind of a good way of doing the underdog thing.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man is
he
not
was-
actually the underdog.
No.
Like, he is just way stronger and
And
better.
you wanted that guy to lose. 'Cause
Yeah.
He was, like, he's not epic. He's just gross.
Right.
Go Google Spider-Man 1 Bonesaw. And just be prepared to feel mildly sick in the stomach.
So you took multiple good puns and whatnot in your thing. Like you even
puns. I think it's just what you picture.
well, like you even threw in like him holding a pen. You know what I mean? It's just
Well, you have sword, pen.
I know. I'm just saying you took so many things with what you did.
You don't.
You drew.
We often ever since we've had this channel, we've always tried to draw different things. But here's the thing: going back to our roots, we used to draw on Sunday mornings back at the sound booth. Which was really just a sound table back then. And we wouldn't show each other what we were drawing. We'd just read the sermon title and we'd show each other. And I think more than 50% of the time,
yeah, we
had
just drew like
basically
the
the
exact
same
same thing. So you're saying I should draw?
I'm saying you should just
throne
draw
room.
what you were originally thinking. And if
Okay.
it's similar to mine, that's fine.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to draw an epic king.
I don't think, like, we laugh, but I'm going to just proceed by saying, I don't think you can do worse than mine. Like, you've learned, hopefully, like you've seen the error of my ways. Just the shape of my guy's face immediately was like, he can't be cool. He can't be epic.
This is
Can't even be manly.
This is one of those things. It's like I'm happy with my ability to draw nose-faced guys and
you're
like
better.
come up with puns and draw silly-looking cartoon guys.
Yes.
I'm happy with that skill.
It's a good.
I
or art
desperately wish I could draw a cool-looking guy.
So do I.
Then let's try.
Like, we have friends that are just naturally gifted artists. Oh,
It's still nose first.
is it pointy?
Yeah, he's
It's like a beak.
yeah.
Epic burly bird man. Anyway, we have friends that are just like, and they just like whip out drawings sometimes in like mere moments, and it's so cool looking, and so just. This looks like a man who shouldn't grow a beard, who tried. He also is definitely a Who from Whoville. Already.
No, he's gonna be so cool.
There's something in the eyes, I
just
think.
you
There's
wait.
something in the eyes.
Just you wait.
I look forward to it.
It's not over yet. It's not. I haven't given up. I haven't changed.
This is
plans
so
yet.
similar to my drawing already, except you gave him a beard, which I was unwilling to do.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can.
This is just one of the wise men who saw Jesus. One of the three kings.
See, this is a debate that, like, because it's like in real life so often
here's the thing.
when you see a guy with like kind of long hair, like shoulder length hair, you're like, that's kind of girly. But it's like, but also like Aragorn.
Yes.
Or like every king in
Thor,
anything
in
ever.
The first Thor, like there's some
like even
people,
Odin, like has like longer
Long
hair.
hair.
Like it's
I think
like,
there's just some level of you have to be so manly to pull it off, you know?
but it's like the manliest men will have
long hair.
long hair.
Yeah. What's with that?
Like, but then
Like William Wallace.
But
in
like, if
Braveheart.
I have long hair, it's like girly.
It's like worse than girly. It's like creepy.
Yeah.
You know, like creepy and girly, or both. Or what you're proving here, in a way, despite his shocked eyes and pointed nose, is that hair covers a multitude of sins. I truly think, had I added a beard to my man that just covered up most of him, you would have respected him more.
And like, this is like a well trimmed, kingly beard.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
But also like,
It's very geometric.
he's been working, so it's like there's you know, it's still hair. It's not like he's took a level to it.
Your guy still feels like he belongs in like a synagogue. Like, I don't know why I'm getting wise man.
Well, I mean, but shouldn't the king be a wise man?
Yeah, so it's like Solomon. Solomon the wise.
Did Solomon ever need a sword?
He also looks like he
David definitely.
He
needed
also
a sword.
still looks like something walked through the front door, and he's just stunned stiff.
How do you draw a cape? like a kingly cape.
I was slightly happy with mine
Like-
until I realized it was hanging off of one shoulder.
Like, I feel like, because it's like, if I don't give him a cape, then he's wearing a
See,
robe.
It's really...
Yeah.
I want to go back to your point from earlier. It's unfair that wearing a cape and having long hair makes 99% of men look dorky.
Mm-hmm.
We man crush on Aragorn quite often, but he has like a cloak with a cape that billows,
Right.
long hair.
Like, if we dressed exactly the same as him, if I grew out my hair and put on that same that exact outfit,
The geekiest.
yeah, like, you look at me and be like,
dumbest looking
look at that nerd.
Yeah.
That, like, he is so dorky.
There's such
like
a-
like you
yeah.
knew people like that at college.
Oh yes.
That
Yes,
like walked
indeed.
around with a sword and had a cloak,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh man,
Yeah. Like,
that is but it's like, he's just trying to be Aragorn.
I know.
Like, he's not doing anything different.
It's so true. It's so true. What is that special kernel of just awesomeness that some people have?
I think the answer is purpose. Like,
We have no purpose in dressing up like
yeah,
that?
like, you're at college, right? Dressed like that. You're like, okay, where's the troll? You know, why do you have a sword at a college campus? But like, I know you're in the sword fighting club that isn't even a real official
the
thing.
LARPing
You're just
club.
over there in the corner fighting with your swords.
Yeah, okay. Like, but there's something sad about that. But that's not but again, you take Viggo Mortensen. You dress him up in his Aragorn costume and you drop
just-
him on campus. He's so cool
That's
looking.
true. That's no, you're right.
You're like, why is he here for like an autograph signing?
And even if
it
he
doesn't
was,
matter.
and even if he was in the corner,
Yeah.
sword fighting with the
Be like,
nerds,
he has some like just looking at him. I know what he's doing is noble.
yeah.
Ah,
There's so it's unfair.
it is.
I
You
agree
have
with
drawn the Magi.
you. The Magi,
The other two, a gift for Jesus.
the Magi Keen.
That's what it means, isn't it?
That's not what the word Magi means. I don't think.
gosh.
But yeah, they were most likely Canes.
Ah. Gosh, it's just. This is not an epic king. He's at least a full-grown man, which my guy cannot say. Like, my guy has stayed in a baby's body. It's
Yeah.
just gotten larger,
Like I didn't
a big baby.
like. How do you draw with just a pen, like a fur coat?
How do you? Here's the
Like how?
And our friend Maddie, when she comes over tonight, because she's coming over late, I'm gonna have her draw. Can you just draw like a burly epic man? 2 minutes, I guarantee she'll have one.
Right.
And then I will try to trace it, and it won't look right.
Fans that are watching this,
How?
every one of you is more talented than us. Please email us a picture of a burly,
Yes.
manly cane.
To the number 2 poorartists@gmail.com. Just send us
I
your burliest man
like.
drawing.
I don't even know where to go with this anymore. Because the whole point was that he was gonna be cool and burly, but now he's a wise man. He's a Rabbi Cane.
Just
He's
see both of our drawings derailed by the fact that our king isn't cool enough to carry the drawing.
like, I'm just gonna have to draw a guy carrying a sword now.
Yeah,
What was the title? He
came
came to bring the sword. He came to bring the sword.
Yes, that is what he did. He came to bring the sword.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna draw this other guy over here.
Even when you go to the Renaissance Festival, like 90% of the people you see that are dressed up don't look cool.
It's true. Like every once in a while, you see someone who like looks like they could
Someone
be
who's
dressed up.
gotten the gift.
Yeah,
The gift of
and it's oftentimes like the actors, like
Yeah.
because
Well,
they're the
they pick people, they test them out. They're like, there's an outfit over there, go put it on. And if they, what is that? Anyway, if they look at the person in the outfit and they're like, no, you can't pull it off, then they just send him home. This is like a judge. He has like the curly, like Mozart wig.
it's not a wig. That's just his hair.
Why does his mouth go so far back? It's shrouded by his hair. It didn't need colored in, man. It's quite a thing now. It looked cooler before you covered it with hair. First time ever.
No, like this guy's not supposed to look cool.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Oh! Is that a hump? Oh. He's like an animal. Is that his granny? Oh, the way this person is bent and the Popeye arm you gave him with like a weird, overly buff. Just, it's like the whole front of the hand got slammed in a door in a cartoon and swollen. Are they praying? Are they praying that their left arm will match their right?
No, they've given up on that.
Clearly a woman, though. Why is he here, my lord? How old is she?
He's like the advisor.
Jeez. I don't think so. We've established on this channel there's certain curves that only the women have. To bring... Oh, so you've reversed it. He's the one who knows what's going on.
Yes.
At least he's wiser than my king.
Well, like, that was the point. He's supposed to be the wise king.
Yeah, and to bring my sword? Not the sword. This kingdom doesn't have
But, like, it is
the sword.
It is
like my
the
kingdom.
sword,
Oh.
but it is his sword.
So people know, like, if you say the sword of our kingdom, they know.
Yeah, like it's
okay.
the keen sword. And so now I have to draw the fabled sword.
Oh, there's like thunder outside. We don't get a lot of thunder in Arizona, this part of Arizona. The Mesa part of Arizona. That's as specific as I'm getting, so the fans don't mob the studio.
Yeah, we're not traveling. We can't just give up our exact
Give out
location.
addresses. The point is, it sounds like there's rain. This is the first time I can think of we've been drawing on this channel and it's been raining in 3 years. What is that? Is this the real king? Is that a king? Is that a person?
No, this is
Goliath?
the guy bringing the sword.
I can't see. What is this? Are those pants, or is he not wearing pants?
This is like the belt.
I'm so disturbed by stuff. You just give this guy a beard and he should be the king, man. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
I give him a beard, though.
Gosh. Oh, why is his head so tiny? Imagine if your bicep was just significantly bigger than your entire head.
It's just
And it's like it's not where it should be. It's like leaning forward like a turtle head.
it's like
His head should be
out. Peeking out from his head.
It
Like,
is.
he has to put his head forward so that he can see past.
So that he has
arm.
like peripheral vision. Gosh. There's so much wrong with the placement of that head. His pants too are weird. What is going on with his leg? Just like real muscly. Your hand is better than my hand.
Trying to draw like 3D, like you can kind of tell there's more fingers in existence.
Our camera angle just lines up perfectly.
And then he has like a pillow.
I like on this channel how we like announce what we're drawing before we draw
otherwise
it.
nobody
Just in
would
case,
know.
because we know it's not really gonna be clear.
And then it's like it has like the fluffs.
Oh,
That
there's a
like
lot
get
of
more
just going
fluff.
overboard with the fluffs. Now it just kind of looks like a leaky donut. You know?
Well, I was gonna like draw fluffs, and then I was gonna draw like a knot in the middle of the fluffs. But then I realized I did the fluffs black.
You know those shoes that apparently people still wear some places that have like little tassels on the front?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a worse shoe than that? Like, I would say Crocs. I really would.
Mhm.
But you wear those, like, there's a level of pretentiousness along with the dorkiness.
Of Crocs?
No, like the tassel shoes. Like the fancy dress shoes that guys wear with tassels.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like these. And yes, I realize that now means you have to put this drawing in there.
Oh, right, those. Like old man shoes.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a skinny sword.
It's
Now
on
I look
its,
up.
It's on its side.
Okay, this is a sword that has been like trampled. Then it's if you're looking at it from the side, it should be like a single line. Like it is
No,
clearly twisted in parts.
It's thick and big.
No.
Like, this guy is the guy that's needed to hold it.
I think it's just really old. It's just
Like, well,
ceremonial.
like, look at how big it is. It's like as big as the king. It's like as long. It's long.
I don't
It's big.
like. I imagine the king
It's
is just going to be
thick.
like, now that you've brought it, grab it and go fight with it, you giant ogre of a turtle man. Imagine this guy's voice. It's either, if movies have taught me anything, this man either has such a deep voice it's scary, or such a high pitched voice. You know how that works in things. Like the big,
Oh, yeah.
humongous.
Right.
Oof.
But see, my whole point is that these tropes are getting tiring.
Uh-huh.
There's no trope in this. This guy's buff.
I think you should just not make him say anything else. Your.
He just comes
Like,
in and
that's
says
his
your.
only word. He's like Groot. Your.
He just says you. Like, that's why he has this job.
Yeah, like,
He just like gives
this
it.
is all he's qualified for.
I'm gonna write one.
I figured, but it's still funny to think about that. His name is Yor,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all he does.
What's the position of this guy? I said it was like, is counselor the right word? Is
I really thought it was
like the
like
the
his
guy
grandma again.
the guy that like whispers in the ear. What's that
It's an
position called?
advisor
Advisor.
to the king, or
Yeah.
steward of Gondor. But that's just like, what was Wormtongue? Yeah, in Lord of the Rings, he's just like the advisor. I think. Apparently, there's no good advisors to the king.
No, of course not.
You know, that's what I want to see. Just give me a movie where there's just a really epic king, a really burly, manly
good
king.
advisor.
It's just a really good advisor.
You have to watch anime for stuff like that.
Is that so? Yeah. Wormtail is the chief advisor to the king.
Yeah.
Your advisor. Oh, yes. Man, your king is way too chill about this, first of all.
Well, he's trying not to like give it away.
Yeah, okay, but like, if the advisor has been an advisor long enough, they know what that sword is used for. And this changes your whole drawing, just that last sentence. Because she, and I'm not calling it a he, she is clearly a woman. Why is he here, my lord? Just like, you can hear the fear now. Because she knows what that sword is used for.
Yeah.
And he's just like, to bring my sword. Why would you even ask? like he's playing it off real nonchalant.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he and the king, the way Yor and the king are staring at each other, they look like he was supposed to deliver it around back. Because the king looks kind of shocked to see Yor, and Yor looks like Yor always looks, just kind of glazed over. Like, his eyes never really move; they just kind of stare off in one direction.
Well, it's like, I mean, we've established this. Can those first people blink? Like, if I
It'll
make
be like VeggieTales when they
like
blink.
when I made
it's
that
disturbing.
when I made that 3D model
Yeah.
of our heads,
don't-
and I drew, the nose first
Uh-huh.
in 3D,
Yeah.
and like,
They shouldn't.
can it blink?
I don't
Does
know.
it have eyelids?
I really don't know which would be more disturbing: watching them blink or watching them stare.
Yeah, like knowing that they can never blink,
I think that's more disturbing in a way.
but also like watching the eyelids,
Watching,
like
like,
come
one of the
from the head around the eye.
watching them blink would be gross, but watching them stare would be unnerving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which is worse, unnerving
Yeah.
or gross. I think if I have to watch them for any extended amount of time, I could get over the grossness of them blinking.
Right.
I
But
don't think
also-
I could stop.
But
thinking
also, like,
about
I mean,
them.
I guess if they blink real quick, it's not that big of a deal. But when I imagine it, it's real slow.
Oh,
Just like,
like you hear it, you hear the skin stretching
Yeah.
to cover the eyes, like the wet, leathery.
yeah, and you're just like watching it slowly.
Maybe they're like those lizards that have really long tongues and they lick their own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow that's less disturbing to me. Like,
Yeah, well, but their nose gets in the way. It's just such a big nose.
It's true.
Well, we went back to our roots and we made a real long episode doing it.
Yep. What? Roots and drawings. This is what our channel is. If you thought it was vlogging, sometimes it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you thought it was songs, it barely ever is. If you thought it was drawing sermon titles in a way that makes you question your faith, that's
what it is.
We are today.
That's our roots.
Our roots. Thanks for sticking around for the whole video, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
As always, we're surprised you made it this far into our video.
There's no way we could possibly ask you to subscribe to this atrocity, so we won't.
We would say share it with your friends, but it's probably better for wasting your enemy's time.
We're probably not going to get any better, but we will keep drawing.
See you next time.